Hey sisters, welcome back to another episode of Women of Wisdom. My name is Frances Cantu and this is my channel Wife Stuff. I'm so excited that you have joined me today and I am so excited to get into today's conversation. This woman right here is somebody that was recommended to me by our previous guest, Victoria Robertson, and if y'all have not checked out that conversation, please go do so because it was filled with so much wisdom and truth, and I cannot wait to share today's guest also. She is such an amazing person and she is filled with so much joy, and I am just grateful to have heard her story. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
My name is Hannah Espinoza. I am the worship director, and I'm also a studio business owner of our music business, and I just love what I do. I'm happy to be here. Thank you again for asking me.
I'm glad
to be here. So
it's an honor.
Sorry
that it's been like a up and down. It was figuring out things, life happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But we're here now. And yes, we are in your studio actually.
Yes, we are.
So that's super cool.
Yeah.
And you were just telling me that story. So that's super awesome.
Yeah.
But you were actually recommended by our last guest, which was Victoria.
Oh, I love Victoria.
And so many sweet things to say about you. She immediately was like, you should ask Hannah. You should ask Hannah. And so I have heard through the grapevine. I haven't heard the full story because she was like, I'm not going to tell it. It's not my story to tell. Yeah. But she said you have an amazing testimony. So, of course, I'm a sucker for testimonies.
No, I feel you there. Yes.
As most of us Christian women are.
Yes.
The point of this series is to share and allow any other woman who may walk through this season of life, or who has or is still in this season of life that you've walked through, to find freedom and just to have that kind of interaction of, oh wow, somebody else has gone through this, or somebody else, shares my same heart behind this. Because I know there was a point in my life where I walked through some hard seasons and I didn't have people at that time. And so that is kind of my heart behind why I wanted to do this series, why I feel like it's important as women that we need to share and we need to just have that friendship and that bond and that fellowship, and sometimes we don't get that in person. So sometimes we do have to watch a video or a podcast or whatever. So
that's so true.
Yes,
so true, because the world is crazy and we all tend to get really busy, and so sometimes this is the most convenient, and I understand that completely. I definitely think that my life has been crazy and has been very busy the past couple of years for sure. But I get it, and I'm thankful that people like you do this. I think it is important. I think it's valuable. And I think, like you said, the world needs this. Women need this. We need to hear from each other.
Yes.
So that we can empower each other and remind each other we're not alone in this life, for sure.
Yes.
So that's very sweet of her. I love Victoria very much. She's my pastor's wife, and she's one of my best friends ever. So I'm very thankful for her. If you see this, love you. And so thank you. Again, I'm very thankful to be here. I do, I was telling you earlier, a little bit about my testimony, short snippets about it. There are things that have happened before, even just that were really big, that happened in my life, that I believe the Lord has really just walked my husband and I through. I know you focus on, wives and, your marriage. And Ruben, I've been through a lot in the past couple of years. I want to talk about three main points, really. Three big things that happened. First big thing that happened with me and Ruben was he lost his best friend when he was 21 years old. And it was a terrible, tragic accident. It was not expected. He just went to his work and had a freak accident. And I'll never forget getting the call. I'll never forget where I was on my mom's front porch. And Ruben really has never been the same since. It was one of those things that we walked through such a tragedy together. I mean, really, it was the guy that we thought was going to be the best man in our wedding and didn't get a chance to. He's the one that we played music with when we were younger. We traveled. We did everything together. I was very close to him as well. And walking through such a tragic time changes you and changes you as a couple as well. So we walked through one moment together. The next one was when I became really sick. I think I was telling about 5 years ago now, which is crazy for me to think of, by the way. But 5 years ago, I went through a really scary spell. I was not able to eat. My stomach would do these like spasms going on. We didn't know what was happening, but anytime I tried to eat, nothing wanted to stay down. So I wasn't like throwing up or anything, but it was not settling. Nothing was good. To the point, like I said, I stopped eating altogether for a little while. As you can see, I'm not a small girl, but I'm okay with that. I'm healthy. It's good. But I got so bad so quickly. I think the lowest I'd ever gotten was about 108 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Was how bad it was. And no one could figure out what was going on. Okay. We're talking about a whole year, basically, of going through testing. The doctors were like, I don't understand. Everything's coming back normal, but you're not eating. I mean, in this house, really, where we're at is where I went through that. And I had to walk through a little bit of developed anxiety through it. I ended up developing panic attacks and many things. I remember walking these floors a lot and pacing and panicking, but having to go through a lot mentally, but reminding myself of who I am and that the Lord is going to bring me through it. To the point I was eating ice chips. I think my mom made like crushed smoothies and froze it, and that's all I would eat sometimes for a day. Ended up in the hospital because I was dehydrated. I'll never forget, Pastor Daniel came up, and he'll tell you, he was like, I've never seen you look so gaunt before. He said, I was really scared we were going to lose you. And it was crazy. It was nuts. Okay. So you've had those two things. And then the last one is just recent, like I had told you before, I was asked to leave my position, lost my job as the choir director at our middle school up here. And it was very tragic. My heart was in the right place. It was there to care for kids, and it was there to be their person. But it just got construed and mixed into something that it wasn't. It ultimately was proven that it wasn't. And so we have walked through several big events in our lives. But in every single event, I feel like the Lord has brought so much growth, so much beauty, so many lessons were learned out of each and every stage. When you walk through death, you don't understand. I remember Reuben questioned a lot. He questioned a lot. He questioned all about the Lord. He questioned about friends. He went through the time where he was very hard-hearted towards people, didn't want to let anybody in. But together, we've together had our hearts softened, and I've really started accepting people more. And now he's got friends again, and he's got people that he talks to, and he's got people that he hangs out with, and he's able to see the light at the end of the tunnel with friendships, and that happens together. Then through my sickness and through anxiety, because I walked through that. So anybody that deals with panic attacks, if you deal with anxious thoughts, anxious feelings, I get it. And you are not alone, because it is hard to walk through. But I'll never forget pacing right here and either having flashcards with verses on them, trying to remind myself of the word and who he says that I am. I remember thinking of really old like praise and worship songs that even if I couldn't say them because I'm struggling to breathe, it's going on in my mind. And being able to walk through that victoriously, through that. And I haven't really struggled. I actually just got off my anxiety medicine earlier this year. And I don't take it anymore because I trust in the Lord. And you know what? If you have to have it, I understand. Like, you're not wrong for that either. You've got to be wise. And I'm just thankful that the Lord's brought me to where I am now. And it's such a free feeling. And through all the sickness and the hard times, this is the cool part. I don't think I've told this yet, but at church, I had finally made it up there. I was really, really little again. And I told myself, I'm going to get my healing today. is what I said. And I was sitting in the pew, because that's when we had pews, oh my goodness, before the renovation. And I was sitting in the pew, and I said, no, I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to go to the front, and I'm going to receive my healing today. I went down to the front. Daniel laid hands on me and prayed for me. And it, not kidding, was like a rush of like heat that came to my stomach and my abdomen and everything. And since then, I've been able to eat and have been healed ever since. And that is a miracle in and of itself. That's the Lord. That's the Lord being the true healer that we always claim that he is. That's walking through and believing that, no, he is healer and he is going to heal. And even if he doesn't in our timeline, because that was hard, going through like a year of being like, what in the world? It may not be in our time, but it's always the perfect time. And so I'm thankful for that I walked through that season, because it made me stronger to walk through what I went through only 2 years ago. Because I could trust in the Lord from when I went through my healing. I knew that he was going to get me through this time where people were saying things about me, that people didn't know the truth, that people were so involved and still didn't really know the full story. It was hard. I mean, I stayed up in my room. I cried. I'll never forget when I actually got let go the first day and it happened. And I dropped to the floor of my kitchen. And I thought, I was done. Really, I was like, how do I bounce back from this? I don't know. Like, I'm going to embarrass my husband. I'm an embarrassment to my family. I'm an embarrassment to my church. And really, all of those thoughts go through your head. And then the Lord built this beautiful place that we're in right now. Like literally sitting in the studio that he was like, but I'm not done yet. And here we are, I still get to teach children. I'm in good health. I get to teach, actually not just children, I get to teach people of all age. I've got adults and everybody that get to share the joy that music can bring. And it's just amazing. And I get to lead worship. Who gets to say that, Even through everything else, you get to be in a church that cares and that wants to, lift the Lord high, that wants to be changed and wants to do something different in the world. That's a blessing. And I count that as a blessing. And I pray that every Sunday. I'm like, Lord, let us not forget the privilege that it is that we get to be here. And it's true. That's my life. I get to be here. I got to see him do it time and time and time again. And like I told you earlier, I really don't believe he's done yet. And I can't wait to see what lies ahead, because it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So that's kind of in a nutshell, my testimony. But the Lord's good. He is. And I understand most people, it's hard to say these things when you're going through it. And I totally understand that. I get that. But we do have the truth hidden in our heart. That's why it's important to stay in the Word. That's why it's important to pray, so that you can pull those out in those moments and remind yourself, I know what the truth is. I know in whom I stand. You can feel your feelings. It's okay. It's all right to do that. I get upset and I get mad and I cry, and it's okay. But we can bounce right back up and knowing who we are.
I like how you said too previous that death changed y'all's marriage, because that is something serious that I don't think people really realize. But grief will change you as a couple.
Yes.
Grief is something that comes in waves, and it's sometimes you're feeling it and he's not, or vice versa, and that can be very hard on a marriage.
Very.
It changes.
It does.
Things change. Seasons change.
Well, and people change.
I
really believe that my husband, I think Ruben really did change from that moment on. He was different. He was very different. And he went through a season of where he was really sad. He was angry with the world. He was really upset. He didn't want to be around people. I think he'd tell you himself, like he hated people. And he doesn't, I've watched him soften his heart as we've walked through this together. And just to see it's hard. You have to remind yourself in those moments, Lord, help me to see him as you see him. Help me to see where he's at right now. What's hurting right now? What's struggling? What's going on? And to be empathetic towards that, and to be there, to really be there. Like, put your phone down, everything, shut everything off, sit there, listen, be there. I think that means everything. I know that's what we try to do, especially if we're very upset or something has happened. Put it down. We're there for each other. We listen. And usually we can help each other just be there and hold and be there and love on each other, encourage each other. And that's how you get through it. That's how you get through it. So.
Okay. So, we live in the South.
Yes.
And Southerners, ooh, when it comes to marriage, people quickly, the first question that comes out of their mouth is, when you having babies? And you and your husband have been together 14 years.
Yeah.
No children.
Nope.
And you said previous, like, we don't even have a desire. That's not,
It's not, yeah.
But that's kind of, I would say, against social norms.
It is.
And then also, even in the Christian community, you might have some judgment there, like,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
they don't want to have kids?
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
Right. We get that a lot, honestly. We do. We get people that ask us all the time. They're like, why? Like, y'all and me, y'all have such great babies. They'd be so cute and this and that. It's not time. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It's not time. We also have a heart to hopefully adopt or help those in the foster care system. Because like I told you, I'm adopted. And that's a big desire of mine, is to help others that need it or that don't have somebody. And I've personally always had the heart for that, and Ruben's just kind of come alongside with me, which makes him perfect for me. So but that's just the bottom line. It's not God's time. It's not time. When it does, we will be there and we will love our child. And right now I teach a lot of children. They come in and out of this studio, and that's a lot to handle, even just there. So, I don't know that that's a good combo quite yet. Those teachers, if you're a teacher and you have children and teach, may the Lord bless you. May He keep you, because I don't know how you do it. Because you teach kids all day and then you come home to kids. That's a lot to do. So, seriously, double blessings upon any teacher that's out there. I don't know how they do it, but that's the bottom line for us, and we're okay with that. We've made our peace. Like I said, we kind of laugh it off, and I don't know, we just encourage each other. We're okay with it. It's something we discussed, honestly, before we even got married, and we knew going in that we both kind of felt that way. And so that's rare. That's a very rare gem that somebody believes the same thing and wants the same thing as you. But that's when we knew it was something different. So
yeah. That's God's desire, maybe, for y'all.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that, because I love loving on other kids that come in here and teaching them music and getting them, show them the joy and all the things that they can find in it. And so I'm okay with that. I've made my peace with it.
Yeah.
But like I told you, if the time comes, then we'll be there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Present,
We're
ready for it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, girl.
I mean, it's so crazy because my husband and I, we're a blended family. So we've kind of we didn't get to have, like the official honeymoon stage. And, we did date, and there were times when we could be alone.
Right.
So far in the distance, I don't even remember.
Right. Yes.
But, I'm looking forward to people, asked me after I had Enoch, like, oh, are you going to have any more kids? And I'm like, are you serious? No.
Right.
At first I was like, I think I made a mistake. I got my tubal and all of that. And I was like, I don't know if this was the right decision. But then the Lord helped me make peace with it. And I realized, no, it was, because eventually, I'm ready for that stage where we get to have that time as a couple.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so important. And, that in itself is like, you see two sides to a coin. You know what I mean? I was just telling my husband the other day, I think that not that I'm not content in my life.
Right.
Let's be clear.
Yes.
But I think there's always a joy to looking at the other side and kind of wanting a little bit from the other side of it. And so I think that people might look and go, oh, what a blessing that she doesn't have kids. And, she gets to, y'all get to go and do and be. Yeah. But I think it's beautiful that y'all chose that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because That's, and that's something else. That's what y'all chose. It's y'all's marriage.
Yeah.
Put children on like this.
Yeah.
Almost like, anything can be an idol, but, then it becomes an obsession, and it's, we need to have kids. We need to have, to have this perfect family, and you are a family.
Yeah.
You have you, you have him, and you have the Lord.
That's exactly right. And that's really, in the end, that's all we really need at this point. Everything else is just a little bonus, a little extra,
Yeah.
That's just how we see it. So,
Yeah. That's beautiful.
thanks.
Any resources that they would do you have anything that you would share with anybody that maybe like in that time helped?
I always highly encourage people, like, if you can go talk to somebody, do it. It helps just kind of sort my thoughts a little bit to pinpoint like what was causing my anxiety. So I do highly encourage people to go talk to somebody. Like, at our church we have a counselor on staff. Definitely go and take advantage of that. It's good to get that out instead of keeping it in. I was somebody that always kept it in. So that would be my biggest resource, is like really encourage people. Go seek it out if you really need somebody. Don't be scared. It's not shameful. Like, if you need help, get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, this series kind of birthed, rather, or the idea was conceived also because I love the scripture in Titus 2 that speaks to the older women teaching the younger women. And here I thought I was going to be this grand older woman because I thought you were like 23.
Yep. I get it all out. Yep.
And you're not.
Nope. Oh my goodness, but it's okay, because I literally get it all the time. It is okay. For those wondering, yes, I am 31 years old. I will be 32 in September. So when I taught, I used to get it all the time. I used to get called a student several times. So I'd be like, no, I'm definitely the teacher. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's cool.
You just have this, very, I won't say childlike, because that's that could be offensive, but just this very young, youthful spirit. And I think that's just because you're joyous and you always have a smile on your face.
Yeah, I try. Yeah. So. And the Lord's really blessed me with that, honestly. For a while, people used to give me a hard time because they would mistake the joy as immaturity. I've had people call me immature many times, but that's not the case. And I've learned that over my life. The Lord's blessed me with joy, and I want that to radiate to other people. So, especially when I went to college, I told myself, no, I'm going to be who the Lord's called me to be. I'm going to radiate that joy, and I'm just going to be me. And I'm thankful for it. I've really just kind of accepted it, But I get that all the time. And I'll take it, man. We got enough people that are really, the opposite. Yeah. So
did y'all not read the same scriptures?
Exactly. Come on now.
Love, joy.
Yeah.
It's right there.
I'm just saying. I mean, you've seen me at church, especially with my worship. I'm the same way. I don't hold back, Yeah. But again, now you've heard, I've been through a lot, so I've got a lot to praise for. Oh, and so, that definitely influences my worship and how I lead and what I do. And so, I'm so thankful for the joy of the Lord, because without it, I wouldn't have made it through. Yes. It is our strength, so.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, I thank you so, so very much. Like I said, we had some time issues going on, and people, life is busy. So I appreciate you sharing your story and your testimony because, like you said, it is worth sharing. You give glory to God, and He has done a mighty work. And like you said, He's not going to stop. So,
nope, it's not finished yet.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for joining me today on Women of Wisdom. I am so thankful and grateful once again to be able to have heard this amazing story. And it's just so amazing what God can do and the things that He can bring us through. And as long as we hide His word in our hearts and we remind ourselves of truth, how He can really use that for His glory. So, I will see y'all in the next episode. And do not forget, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do yourself a favor and subscribe so that way you do not miss any of my new videos that are coming out. And I will see y'all in the next one. God bless y'all, and go and be a light out there.